Traveling through Australia offers a truly unique experience. Here, you can encounter kangaroos and koalas in their natural habitat, but the real icons of the Australian roads are the road trains. These are giant truck combinations built to conquer the colossal distances of a country that ranks 6th in the world by land area. The need for these monsters, which can exceed 50 meters in length, is driven by the harsh environment. Drivers here face challenges that their colleagues in Europe or the US could never imagine. But why did Australia become the home for these giants? How do they differ from ordinary trucks? And what dangers await drivers in the heart of the desert? If you're interested in powerful machinery, subscribe to the channel right now. We're just getting started. Australia is vast, yet its population is only about 25 million people. Imagine a territory nearly the size of Brazil, but with fewer people living there than in Venezuela. Most of the population is concentrated in a narrow strip along the coast, while the entire center of the continent is the lifeless outback, arid deserts. However, it is there, in that vast emptiness, where the country's greatest riches are hidden: gold, ore, and endless pastures. To transport supplies in and resources out, ordinary trucks weren't enough, and building a railway across the entire continent was far too expensive and time-consuming. This logistical deadlock gave birth to a unique solution. In the mid-19th century, desert transport relied on camel caravans brought in from Afghanistan. But with the arrival of engines, everything changed. The city of Alice Springs, the very heart of the outback, is considered the birthplace of the road train. Legend has it that a local mechanic and livestock hauler named Kurt Johansen bought a discarded American tank transporter after World War II and decided to upgrade it. Previously, he could only haul 20 head of cattle per trip, but Kurt developed unique trailers with movable axles that could be hitched one after another. Soon, his system of a tractor unit pulling 3 trailers allowed him to move 100 head at a time. The idea took off instantly. Road trains began hauling everything from fuel to timber. Today, these machines are the backbone of the economy. Some units are capable of delivering over 300 head of cattle in a single trip. Kurt Johansen would surely be proud of the record set in 2006, when a single Mack truck managed to pull 113 trailers. That convoy stretched for nearly 1.5 kilometers, almost a mile. As for the trucks themselves, Australia doesn't have its own heavy-duty truck industry, so the market is shared between the US and Europe. However, due to the specific road conditions and right-hand drive requirements, a distinct style has emerged. Most often, the legendary American brands Kenworth, Mack, and Western Star take on the role of the prime mover. These are the only machines capable of withstanding the hellish heat and incredible loads while pulling a tail of 4 or more trailers. While cab-over models do exist in Australia, the majority of drivers prefer the classic bonneted trucks with the engine out front. At first glance, they look like standard American rigs, but the devil is in the details. The most striking feature is the massive steel bumper, known here as a bull bar. In the outback, driving without one is a death sentence for the vehicle. Countless wild animals, from kangaroos to feral camels, constantly cross the highways. At high speeds, a collision without this protection would instantly shred the radiator and critical mechanical components, leaving the driver stranded and alone in the desert. The second obvious difference is the right-hand drive configuration. Since Australia drives on the left, the cabs are completely re-engineered. However, the most significant changes are hidden under the hood. Even though the models are the same as those in the US, the Australian climate demands extreme cooling. The engine bays are larger to accommodate massive radiators and heavy-duty filtration systems. The fine outback dust can kill an engine in hours, making the air filters true engineering fortresses. An interesting fact, even though a road train can weigh up to 200 tons, their engines aren't necessarily more powerful than those in Europe or the US. For instance, the popular Mack Titan produces between 600 and 685 horsepower. You might think that's not enough for such a massive weight, but the secret lies in the terrain. Australian highways are predominantly flat. Here, sheer reliability is more important than peak power. The chassis and frames of these trucks are specially reinforced to withstand the constant vibrations of corrugated dirt roads. Another unique trait is the enormous fuel capacity. To cross desert regions where gas stations are hundreds of miles apart, these trucks carry upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 litres, over 500 gallons, of diesel. When fully loaded, fuel consumption is astronomical, roughly 1 litre per kilometre, about 2.3 miles per gallon. Pre-trip preparation is a ritual in itself. A breakdown in a remote area can be catastrophic. A road train can have as many as 86 wheels, and the driver is responsible for checking every single one. Imagine changing a blown tire in 50 degrees heat under the scorching sun. This is not a job for the faint of heart. Beyond spare parts, drivers carry supplies of food and water to last for weeks. Weather in Australia is unpredictable. A sudden downpour can turn a dirt track into an impassable swamp in minutes. If a river bursts its banks and floods a crossing, a driver can be trapped in the desert for weeks without a signal. In such cases, they sometimes have to uncouple the road train and shuttle trailers across river fords one by one. Maneuvering a 50-meter machine on narrow, broken roads requires nerves of steel and surgical precision. This isn't just driving. It's an art of survival. The dangers faced by road train drivers are numerous, but one of the most terrifying threats remains the frequent Australian bushfires. In the conditions of the Australian Outback, fire spreads with incredible speed. If flames surround a vehicle, the driver has almost no chance of escape. Attempting to turn around a 50-meter-long convoy or uncoupling trailers takes far too much time. History has seen tragic cases where truckers were caught in a fire trap, left with absolutely no room for maneuver. Despite the risks, these giants have become a true national icon. Today, there are approximately 20,000 road trains registered in Australia. Not only do they transport essential goods, but they have also become a popular tourist attraction. Many dream of experiencing the majesty of the wild outback from the cab of such a monster. According to official regulations, the maximum length of a convoy on public roads is capped at 53 meters, about 174 feet. That is 3 times longer than what is permitted in the US or Europe. In urban areas, Australia's vehicle fleet is impressively diverse. You can find everything from the American kings of the road, Kenworth and Mack, to high-tech Europeans like Volvo and Scania, and reliable Japanese powerhouses like Isuzu and Mitsubishi. For those planning to travel Australia by car, remember, a road train weighing 200 tons can cruise at speeds of 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles per hour. It can take up to 2 kilometers for such a beast to come to a full stop, so never cut them off or brake suddenly in front of them. Modern technology is slowly entering this rugged business. The latest rigs are equipped with electronic braking systems and adaptive cruise control. However, the question of a green future for these machines remains open. While Europe and North America are implementing Euro 6 standards and actively testing electric trucks, Australia still largely relies on Euro 5 norms. It is hard to imagine an electric tractor capable of hauling 200 tons across the desert for thousands of kilometers. The problem isn't just the engine power. It's the total lack of charging infrastructure in regions where there isn't a single soul for hundreds of miles. It will likely take decades before the diesel legends of the Outback give way to alternative energy, if it ever happens at all. Road trains are not just transport. They are the only way of survival for an entire continent where railways prove powerless against the sheer scale of the desert. They are a symbol of human resilience and engineering might. Would you ever want to get behind the wheel of one of these steel monsters and cross the Australian Outback? And if any of our viewers have actually worked as a driver of these incredible machines, please share your experience in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next episodes on the world's most amazing machinery.